welcome to the Be Glad movement. My name's Pollyanna and I am on a mission to bring you as many stories as possible of good coming out of bad and reasons to be glad. And today I am joined by Owen from
Hello.
the World Health Heroes. And Owen, you've got a very interesting story and of good coming out of bad, obviously. I'm going to let you just dive straight in and tell me all about it.
Brilliant. It's like you know me too well. I do like to chat. I did this story just a couple of days ago for our own channel. So I feel like I've had a bit of practice on telling this story.
Good.
There's lots of different strands to mine, but I know that the Be Glad movement is all about good coming out of bad and seeing the other side to things that may happen. And throughout my life, through childhood, the 20s, and the build up to the heroes, I've had moments that have knocked me down, and it was hard and it was really, really tough, but I always seem to find a way of turning it into some creation of some kind that's really, really good for me. But my kind of story as far as the World Health Heroes and creating that company was, I got seriously ill. It's actually next week's the 3-year anniversary of my surgery. So I had something called intussusception. I still can't say it properly after all this time, where part of your intestines gets dragged into another part of your intestines, like a periscope. Normally happens to infants in the first couple of months of being alive. It's quite rare in adults, which is why, initially I didn't see it when I went to hospital. They didn't know it was that.
Sure.
It's because I woke up one day and I was just in absolutely searing pain, like I was being stabbed in the stomach every couple of seconds, bang, 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 bang. I'm the kind of person that doesn't want to cause a fuss. So I'm like, oh no, I'll be fine later. Then a couple of hours later, I'm in a fetal position in the bathroom, vomiting up water and sweating. I was like, it's probably not normal, is it?
Right.
So my friend took me to the local hospital to get checked out, and they did their x-rays and see what was going on for me. And it didn't come up on an x-ray because it's lower intestinal soft tissue.
Sure.
So it wasn't going to come up. I needed a CT scan really. That would have revealed all. But that is another story. But because they didn't know that, put me full of morphine and such like, and then sent me home without a knowledge that I basically at that point had no functioning intestines. So they switched off, essentially what would happen in that scenario. So my stomach would seal at the bottom and then no intestines.
Wow.
So I was just living my time without them. So I went home and I rested. The pain started to creep back in, and it was just horrific. I just never felt anything like it. Just trying to get in a position which didn't hurt. And because it's all internal, you just want to get in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get in there and figure out what's going on. But I waited 6 days. I cannot explain why I waited 6 days. But I was like, every day I was like, I'll be fine tomorrow. And it just got worse and worse. I hadn't really, every time I tried to eat anything, I would just, vomit instantly. And it was just, I just remember in my dad's living room and just trying to watch telly. I was laying down, I just vomit and then lie back down. It was just horrific. It's just like this kind of survival mode that you're in. And I've been very lucky in my life. I've not really had any internal issues or anything like that. I had depression, anxiety, but I didn't have any physically type stuff to worry about. This was all new to me. But over that 6 days, it was just such an eye-opening experience of understanding what it is to be human. And if you couldn't work and you couldn't do anything, you couldn't see people, and all you were trying to do on a daily basis, it was just survive. I got to experience what that would be like, which I think has ended up being a really powerful tool for me to see the world a bit differently and life for me. But over the 6 days, I lost. I get confused. I said a stone in my last one. I think it was more than that. Basically, I lost a lot of weight in that 6 days, where my body obviously wasn't taking on food, but then it started to cannibalize my own body. So it was eating all my muscle tissue to keep going, which I think is pretty awesome. That your body's like, we're going to keep going. Let's eat your hamstrings and then eat your calves.
Oh my goodness.
So I didn't really notice this until one of my friends came out on the 5th day, and she's like, "What's going on?" Because you could see my skull, you could see clavicles and stuff. 'Cause I was quite underweight anyway. Right. And it was only till then I was like, I do need to figure out what this is all about. And I just on the 6th day I just went back into hospital, and they did some blood tests and various other stuff, and they said my white blood cells were non-existent. My immune system started to shut down because it needs to survive, so it gets rid of things it doesn't need.
Scary.
Just to keep my heart pumping and stuff. It's amazing stuff, really. And then by doing the CT scan, they then saw the black mass in my stomach and sent me to surgery. But the two key parts of all of this was that 6-day experience and how that affected me on a mental level, but also when I was going down the hospital corridor, and I always get emotional when I tell this bit because I vividly remember it, going down on the bed. My dad was to the right of me and the nurse was there, going down to surgery, and I thought that was it. I thought I was going to die and it'll be over, and I had to come to terms with this is the end for me. And it's quite an epic place to be in. You're like, actually in hindsight it's actually a really cool place to be in, because if you do come out the other side, you see things a lot more differently than you did. And then I just remember the mask coming down over my face and thinking that was the last thing I was going to see. And then obviously I woke up. But I won't keep hopping on too much longer on that one. But that is essentially what had happened to me in the lead up to that.
And that gave you a lot of clarity about the value of life and what it's like to be someone that potentially can't go to work and has a life debilitating illness, you know.
Yeah, it puts you in your primal state. It puts you in that fight and flight survival state, which we kind of we're in quite a lot anyway, aren't we? Modern day with anxiety and depression and stuff. But when you're actually put on that level, the life just seems differently. And when I woke up from the surgery, I was just like, I didn't say literally out loud, "Oh, I'm still here," but there was an element of that. So hang on a minute, and I had all these tubes sticking out of everywhere, and I was like, "What's going on?" And I slowly came more to, and then my journey since waking up from surgery for the last 2.5 years has all been about mission heroes for me. Because when I didn't know it was going to be that, but I just came out of hospital and I just thought I just need to do more with my life, but also do more that serves me. I wasn't doing enough that served me. I was such a people pleaser before.
Okay.
And there are elements of it still now, but it just ruled my life. What people thought of me just ruled my life completely. All my decisions were based on what people would think of the decision, rather than what served me. And this is what this allowed me to see, is that if I woke up tomorrow and had this pain again, I'd hate to think that I'd spent even more years
just
living through other people's eyes. So it kind of allowed me to strip out my life afterwards. I thought, right, what was I doing before? What did my day look like? What were the decisions I was making? I was able to look at what I wanted to keep in my life, and what I wanted to remove from my life that wasn't serving me, and that was how I sort of began my journey.
It's really interesting that you talk about serving yourself, because World Health Heroes, from what I understand of it, and I know you're going to tell us more about that, is actually about looking after other people a lot, you know. So do you want to tell us a little bit more about World Health Heroes and what it is that you do?
Sure. It's kind of like, so I didn't realise that World Health Heroes was what's going to come of this change in mentality. But it was only 6 months later that I came up with the idea for World Health Heroes to help people who are on low income out of work through illness to be supported with their health using complementary health and alternative options and stuff, because the medical healthcare system is brilliant. It's saved my life. I cannot thank them enough for being here today, sat with you. But we do need to bring complementary health more to the forefront of helping people with conditions. But because I was self-employed when this illness struck, I was a massage therapist and a personal trainer, I lost so much money. I was out of work for a couple of months. I had a bit of a part-time job, and it was in that moment that I was just like, hang on a minute, you know, I've got no money here. And I was suffering quite a lot of trauma from my surgery and everything that happened, mental trauma, emotional trauma, and I needed help with that, but I couldn't. I didn't have any money, and everything complementary health based, you've got to pay for it. So it made me realise over time that there was definitely a problem there, that people's well-being can be much better supported if it wasn't so restricted by the money side of it. So it kind of made me start thinking a bit about how could we help that situation, how could we bring more experts of health and well-being together to better teach the world about how to heal yourself, what depression is, what anxiety is, because sometimes all we need to know is how the body works, how the mind works, how to tap into, you know, our own being, so we can to not get to the position I was in the first place, to be ill like that. So the educational part of the World Health Heroes and educating the world about themselves is a really massive part of our journey. But the clinic, which is the bit that helps those on low income, matters a lot to me, because I've been there. I didn't have the option of being supported. I just had to figure it out. And that's hard. That's a hard, lonely journey to be on. So that's kind of what sparked my desire to create this World Health Heroes on a kind of global scale. But previous to my illness with my depression and my anxiety, I really struggled to keep a job down for very long. I was in chronic amount of debt. and my family didn't have much money either, so it was very difficult for me to reach out for hypnotherapy, CBT, anything I needed to help me with my anxiety.
Yeah.
Because I have to pay for it all, £60 a session.
Sure.
I'm on minimum wage, I can't afford that. And so like even 10 years prior, that problem also surfaced. Right. So it feels like finally I'm getting to work with this issue and hopefully bridge that barrier that's there. That's what I'm trying to do with it.
So I'm going to try and explain World Health Heroes, and correct me if I'm wrong. So essentially what it is a group of therapists who come together, and they are the World Health Heroes, and people can donate to the World Health Heroes as well. Yeah. And then if there's somebody who finds themselves in need, as you did before something like the World Health Heroes existed, but if someone comes to you in need, they can fill out a form on the website and be put in touch with a relevant therapist, and also get some funding towards the therapy that they need. Have I got that right?
Spot on. People often try to explain it to me. I'm like, yes, but you nailed it. Nice work. I'm hoping our website and everything we're doing is quite clear, so hopefully it is. But no, you're spot on. That's what it is. It's essentially, it's a bit like matchmaking. So it's finding a suitable health hero for a client that needs their help, and it's whatever the client can afford, really. So if they can afford £5, £10, £15 a session, brilliant. We'd like them to try and contribute something just for the energy exchange.
Sure.
And then we look to put extra money, and we help to part fund to make sure that our therapists, are paid for what they do, because at the end of the day, I could be the best therapist in the world, but if I'm such a caregiver and I keep doing loads of free stuff, the business isn't going to last very long, and my ability to help people heal is gone.
Exactly. So
I'm trying to help therapists live an abundant life as well as the client. So it's a tricky one, because you're trying to support and benefit both sides, but I think we have a platform here to definitely make that work.
Yeah. I think it's the perfect scenario, really. You've really taken that issue and found a win-win situation for both the therapist and the people in need. So that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Because it comes from a place of being in that position. Because hypnotherapy, essentially, for anybody that doesn't know, hypnotherapy pretty much changed my life forever, because I couldn't understand why my anxiety was so severe, and depression stuff that I was going through, and I was just like, why do I just think I'm so worthless all the time? Why do I think I'm not worthy of love? Why do I struggle relationships?
Yeah.
What is this all about? I'm a good person, but on a sort of mind level, I couldn't break out of that cycle at all, and I didn't know why. But hypnotherapy, a couple of the sessions that I had really helped me understand my past and abuse from childminders that had happened to me, force feeding and all this kind of stuff. And then really severe bullying that I remembered the bullying, but the amount of trauma that was caused by that bullying after school every single day took a toll in the end. By the time I got to my 20s, I was just like, I just need to make sure everybody likes me, otherwise if I don't, violence is involved in it. That's what was taught to me in school. So hypnotherapy made me remember all of this stuff that I may have blocked out, and kind of the trauma I put to one side. But it opened up a whole world of better understanding of myself, and I owe my life to hypnotherapy, really. And so 10 years prior to this, it played a part of complementary health in my life. So it feels like all this time later I'm able to serve that back. But my family ended up having to try and find money to make that happen, and we really struggled to get there. So I suffered for years needlessly.
Right.
All I needed was a couple of £100, and I could have made it happen, but it wasn't an option, and that just makes me really sad. So every time we get an application through and I read these amazing stories that people are telling us of how they've kept going, let's try and stop them having to keep going.
Sure.
So it just every time I get one, it just sparks me into life. I'm like, right, let's get a hero for this client, let's make this happen, because it's not a simple, easy journey necessarily for a client that goes through their healing journey that they're going through, but it's essential for us to come into ourselves and feel whole again.
Definitely. I love this. It's such an amazing story. It's a sort of ultimate good coming out of bad, that you went through that bad situation, you recognised the need, and you've created something so valuable to the world, and it is international now, isn't it? You've got
it's all but through, or at least only 2.5 years, but last couple of weeks ago now. So we've got heroes in South Africa, America, Canada and Australia now, because there's so many therapists, millions of therapists out there, I'm sure, that have this same vision of trying to make the world feel well again. And I can't do that by myself. But if I can get all these amazing heroes around me, together we can definitely make that happen. So I just see this as a platform, and I built a foundation to something that those guys are going to help build.
Sure.
You know, I can't build this without them. So I've just laid the groundwork, and they can live out their dreams inside the heroes. But I try and remember that every day, because I'm a human being at the end of the day. Sometimes I get overwhelmed, I get a bit stressed out, my anxiety might, maybe getting really super tired, my anxiety kicks in. But now I know I have the tools. I have a mindfulness practice that I try and stick to as much as I can, but the mindfulness practice really helps me ground. And this is the kind of knowledge that keeps me in a good space. If we could teach the world about a mindfulness practice, all the better, really.
Yeah.
But to do that, we need to have a big voice. I'm hoping the heroes will have that voice as time goes by, because it can be so simple to come back into your body, but if you don't know how to do it, you're not going to.
Sure.
It's that simple.
Sure. So if there are any therapists out there that are interested in becoming part of the World Health Heroes group, what would they do? Do they go to your website?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. It's nice and easy. So just head over to our website, worldhealthheroes.com. And on there you've got a Become a Hero page where they can find out a little bit more about what it means to be a member, expectations and all of that kind of thing, and see if it fits for them. And then we just send them an introduction video with me, just explaining a little bit more about our hopes and dreams and what we're up to. And then if they're happy, we'll book them in for an interview. You have to be interviewed by me or one of my colleagues to get to know them. I want to understand them as a human being.
Sure.
What makes them do what they do. What they do for business is great, and their qualifications is great, but I want to understand why they want to help people. That matters the most to me. I'm referring people to people here. I'm not giving a symptom to a therapy style. These are people that we're dealing with. So have an interview with us, and if it's something for them, we'd love to get them involved in what we're doing.
Fantastic. What if you're somebody who thinks that they need some therapy? Same thing, go to the website.
Yeah, nice and easy. If you're a member of the public who is struggling with whatever you're struggling with, and you're on low income, please do give us a shout. Come onto the clinic page on our website, and there's an application form there that you can fill out, and we'll be able to get back to you, book you in with one of our advisors, find out a little bit more. Again, we want to know your story. We want to know the story that led to your symptoms in the first place, because sometimes that's a good place to start with a lot of this kind of thing. So please do that. And then obviously for anybody who's watching that really believes in helping people, their loved ones going through things, then we have a crowdfunding page on Just Giving where people can donate even £1, £2, £3. That could help transform a life. So big companies that want to sponsor us is a really, really good way to go as well. And we have fundraising events that we're about to walk up Penny Fan in Wales. A lot of the heroes, some of the public, are going to have a suggested donation day and see if we can raise a bit of money while we walk up a mountain and get some mindfulness going while we're walking up there as well. So there's plenty of fun ways to get involved. I want the public to feel like they can be part of this as well.
Yeah.
It's not just about the therapist and the client, it's about all of us coming together.
Awesome. That's really cool. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. If you liked this video, please do hit the like and subscribe button. I'll put all the links below to World Health Heroes so you can check in on what Owen's up to. You can follow the Be Glad Movement on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. If you search at Be Glad Movement, you'll be able to find us. And I look forward to seeing you in another episode. Many thanks.
Thank you.